Yes, your main report, sir.
For what? Ha! There's no way I'll finish this. Even this one, there's no way I'll finish it before the end of the closing now. Want to gbele? We're about the Moshive Pariele. There's no way I can finish this work. I'm taking this one home now. My wife will start complaining that I don't have time for her. How am I going to do this? And I'm not going to sleep at work. Eh? Ẹ ṣáà ní fi iṣẹ́ pààyàn báyìí. Iṣẹ́ iná là ń ṣe látàrọ̀ tàti parí. There's no way I'll finish this one, and here again there's another one on the table. My God.
Hello, this is Leap World channel where you find enterprise solutions. Today is beautiful and it's another exciting period of our favorite show, HR Tacos. You're welcome to another exciting episode of HR Tacos where we talk about what educates, we discuss and debate about everything around employment, labor, and human resources practice from different perspectives. Today, we will be looking at a very interesting topic. Work-life balance. According to Google, work-life balance is the equilibrium between personal life and career work. A survey by Stress Pulse found that 65% of employees report that workplace stress has caused various difficulties in their lives. Also, another 5-year study shows that individuals clocking in more than 55 working hours per week have a 1.66 times, that's about 2, higher risk of developing depression and almost the same risk of, having issues with their personal lives. Interesting, isn't it? With me today to look at this exciting topic is my regular guest and erudite, Mrs. Olabiro Olamide, a seasoned HR practitioner.
Thank you, Kunle.
Yeah. Also here I have another employee advocate. You know, on the show we usually have employee advocates. I have another employee advocate, Joshua Mahmood. What's your view on work-life balance?
Yes, I believe there's something called work-life balance. Work-life balance, just like the definition you read out says, is creating an equilibrium between the work life and the personal life. So, and I believe that in an organization, as an individual, there should be work-life balance. There should be a balance between your work life and your personal life. You should have time to focus on work and also have time to focus on other things like your family or trying to take care of yourself, having time to do things you also love to do. So I believe there ought to be a balance.
Interesting. So this is my own personal take. You see, but it's good to hear your part. I usually say that is there really something called work-life balance? And I jokingly say, is life even balance? That maybe it's work-life integration and managing it. Life itself is not balanced. So something has to give for something. There's no vacuum in life. But I mean, it's good to hear from your own perspective as a practitioner and looking at it from the entrepreneur's perspective.
So thank you, Kunle. Just like you said, actually trying to balance work and life generally is more of something that you say may not be truly achievable. I see it as a cycle. It's not something that you say you address now and it's fixed. No, it's a cycle, it's a work in progress. It's something that is continuous. And why do I say this? Because it's something that has to do with your happiness and fulfillment as an individual. Work-life balance connotes an idea that you need to give equal proportion of time to your work and your life, which is not possible at all times. But you have to prioritize and find out what actually is very important at this time that you have to work on and what you want to actually achieve. That's how I see it.
Josh, you heard this is you want equilibrium. You say, oh, is equilibrium really possible? How we should prioritize. So, what do you think? Can we really give equal proportion?
Yes, we can. And in a way, if your personal life has to suffer for your work life, then there should be something to keep the morale going. Because if you need to keep on working and working overtime, then you have to have at least make like an overtime payment like extra cash, if extra cash is involved in your extra time, your working hours, then at least you have morale to at least keep on doing the work. But when there's nothing attached to it, you tend to feel so weak and reluctant in doing the business.
Okay, so if I hear you now, it's not just about the balance, it's about, okay, if you don't give me the time, give me the money. That's what you are trying to say. And Mrs. O is saying that, hey, prioritize. So Mrs. O, so let's flip it a bit and look at it as, so do you really think we should buy that time? That you think it's money that really should fulfill that part that the perceive is not balanced? Maybe we should even ask, how do we perceive that work and life is not balanced? You know? So let me start with Josh. I'll come to you now. Josh, what do you think you will see and say, oh no, work and life is not balanced? What are the things that suggest that?
As an individual, as an employee working in an organization, the organization have goals and they have a mission. So in trying to fulfill and in trying to be honest with yourself in helping them to achieve that goal and that vision, there might be some time where an extra hours are required in fulfilling those goals, in achieving those visions. So that might cause a little fallout in your personal life. There might be periods where you don't have to focus on your children. There might be periods where you don't have to do the things you love to do because you have to help the organization achieve their goals.
Okay, so Mrs. O, work-life balance, equilibrium, not balance, integration. Looking at this whole thing, what are the things that you think actually would suggest that, oh, hey, this is not balanced at all? Mm.
Thank you. Actually, what most people think is a result of work-life imbalance is stress. Many employees will tell them that they feel stressed at work, and it's because they don't have work-life balance that the stress is there. And what are the things that bring stress at work? Maybe your workload is high, you think it's a lot. Maybe you think you're not getting enough pay. Maybe you think things are dropped on you suddenly. And all of this make you feel so stressed that you think you cannot cope. Agreed, sometimes this happens, but it's your reaction to them and the time you give to prioritize and identify the things that actually need your time at a particular point in time that tells you that you can balance or aggregate what you're doing and make it work for you.
Okay, so if I hear you now, what you're saying is it's not just about, it's about prioritization. So you are saying it's about how you prioritize your work. So Josh, we've identified that from that survey, and if you look at even the clips from Mr. James, you can see that even Mr. James had a serious concern about work-life balance, and we also want to help him to address some of the concerns that he has raised. So if we agree that, and from the survey that we saw, that sometimes work and life is not balanced, okay, or we have to integrate. So from your own perspective, what are the things that you think, what are the some instances that you say, oh, this is suggesting that I am stressed. So that means there's depression. How do we avoid going into depression, like what the survey pointed out? What are the things that can be done to help, to manage work-life balance?
Yes, if employers can help the employees to manage their time well, help them manage their time so that they can achieve their goal for the day within the specific time of work, then that will be a plus for the employee, and they can better achieve their goal at work and also fulfill their duties at home. Also, employees can, if in the policy of the organization there are spaces for leave, then that would be a very good one for the employee also, where you can take leave to relax and regain strength so that the work environment is.
So what if there's a peak period for the organization? So most people have been on COVID-19 break. So we had the whole of last year, for example, most of us had most of last year to relax. This is all. So you hear that, let's take off. So what do you think? So assuming the organization, from employer's perspective and from the, so do you think there's an argument for people to work continuously, maybe during the peak of the work, okay? And they're saying, oh, Josh is saying that give us leave, or even though we were on COVID-19 break last year, the company didn't do anything. Suddenly, we are trying to find our feet, but madam, we still need to go. So what do you have to say to that? You know?
Thanks for that. COVID period was a lot stressful for everybody, employers and employees. And employers have come out to bring up new initiatives to assist their employees get over the COVID stress. At least like in my organization, we started the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. Leave is there. We've always been able to take your leave. For structured organizations, there is always leave period. And we encourage our employees to go on their leave, because when you go, then you're rejuvenated. So that's one thing that is there. Then, with the stress, other things that we've done was have gyms. We have a gym close by. We encourage employees to have exercises
That
on.
is for your kind of. What about people that cannot afford this gym and all that?
We encourage you to exercise, because exercise helps you maintain a good emotional status.
Yes.
So even if it means walk on your own, you can take walks.
So it doesn't have to be pay only. So
No.
you're saying there's some things employees can.
Yes.
So Josh, you heard that.
Yes.
It's not just about paying you. They say you to help yourself by exercising to
Develop
you-
yourself.
you
need
need
to
that
learn.
enough.
If I
You need to
cannot,
learn to say no. If you think there are some things that are taking extra time from you or are stressing you up, first identify what the stress causes are. Once you know what's causing the stress, then you know how to deal with it. Once you don't know what's stressing you, then you keep on getting stressed and re-stressed.
very well, but if I don't have the money, if I don't have the money to actually go to the gym, if I can't afford the gym and those extra leisure activities, then how do I go about it?
Okay, see Joshua, everything is not about money.
Yeah, just hold them there. Yes, everything. Hold your thoughts there. So let's go to the streets and hear what other people are saying about work-life balance. Yeah? You hold your thoughts and let's hear what you have to say.
This work-life balance is basically how I tend to manage my work life with my personal life.
Work life is more important than our daily life, individual daily life, because with the work it helps you to run your life.
So my work-life balance has not been really balanced. My work life and my personal life has not been really balanced due to the fact that I have to spend more time at work in order to make ends meet.
Okay, what can be done is there are a lot of things that we can implement to see how we can strike up to balance up. One, we try to copy from the foreign country, like you try to see how we can adjust the timing. Instead of resuming 7 a.m. and you close like 6 p.m., you can see how we can adjust the timing. One. Number two, you can think of giving them an opportunity of having leave for them to must go, so that they can go for their leave. You understand? So that they can enable them to balance and their day-to-day lifestyle.
An increase in wage sometimes would help. So it's because that would tend to reduce the number of hours I spend at work. Secondly, maybe a leave so that I can have to face my family at some times, because work life might not make you have time to face your family and take care of them. So I think a leave would be an appropriate one, would be very good for an employee. Also, maybe a vacation, even a paid vacation. Yes, my employer can decide to take me out on a paid vacation, so just to relax myself and regain my energy back, and at least so that I can achieve the organizational goal.
All right, so welcome back to the studio, your exciting program, HR Tackles. You heard what the people said on the street about work-life balance. Okay, so we'll be talking to some of those points and that of Mr. James. So Mrs. O had a point on, before we went to the street. So Mrs. O, you were saying it's not just about money,
Yeah.
So let's hear you.
So just like I was telling you, everything is not about money. Sometimes it takes you as a person to be able to help yourself. Because if people keep on coming to you and you want to be everything for everyone, then definitely you'll be under stress. Then, if you're not able to say no, if you're not able to organize yourself, of course you will be stressed. And if you do not know what to do at what point in time, what questions to ask yourself to get to a good emotional state, then of course you will not be able to fix it.
Good. You agree?
I agree.
So you were saying behind the scene, what if I don't have money?
Yes, if I don't have money to go to the gym to see maybe if I'm depressed out of the stress and I can't go to see a
Professional.
a professional.
Okay.
A professional.
But I was telling you, you could just speak out first. That's the first thing. Speak out, talk to people. If you can't talk to people around you, if you think that, sometimes talking to strangers even gives you a lot of distressing emotions. A stranger that you know does not know you from Adam, maybe you just go talking, and you're budging a bit. By the time you get back,
So, but we're talking about work life. What about, is it possible to put so much emphasis on life and let work suffer? How about that? Is there no situation like that? Where work is suffering, can work suffer?
People come, people go. So if you decide to let the work suffer, you might just get fired and another person will come take your place. So it's not ideal to let your work suffer, because if your work suffer, your pockets will also suffer. That's another thing, and it will also affect your personal life. So the three will suffer if work suffer.
Oh, so work can actually affect. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Like your work suffer, how will it affect? Maybe you go and look for another place where your life will balance. How about that? Can't we just move on and look for another place?
That's the need for this topic. I don't think that it could ever be balanced.
Really?
Actually, I don't think it could ever be balanced, because if you want to fulfill your duties as an employee, and you also want to earn something to also take care of your personal life, you have to work.
that's why I said it's a cycle. It's not a fix it at once thing, work-life balance. No, you have to know what to prioritize at each point in time. And particularly in your life as an individual, you have to learn how to manage yourself, manage your
So
situation.
this is so sorry. So what you're saying now is it's actually possible to manage work and life.
It is.
Okay, so that comes me to, I mean,
It's
this
also
conversation
easy,
is
but
hot,
it is.
and we may not be able to even end it. And we'll take it to beyond the studio. So we'll go to the social media handles. But I have a question here on talking about the management we're talking about. Someone said that from an employer's perspective, a lot of times I have had to go extra mile. I've had to, at the detriment of just making the business to survive. So is it fair for my own life to just be on that roller coaster, and the staff are clamoring for work-life balance and live like Joshua said, that, what do you have to say to that?
This conversation is very important. There was something I read on Forbes concerning work-life balance, where they highlighted three generations and how they approach and what they think and their opinion of work-life balance. There was the baby boomers, the generation X, and the millennials. The baby boomers were of the opinion that they had to struggle to get anything they want. So they have to work hard and make sure they earn some money to take care of themselves. They don't really care about work-life balance, because they feel like they have to work. They have to do something to.
They were alive during the war.
Because they have to struggle to get anything they want. So the generation X took clue from their parents, because they saw how their work life and their personal life were, and they felt they were the one at the losing end, because their parents were more focused on their work and not focused on them, which is the family. So there was no balance, and they don't want such a relationship to happen between them and their children. So in order to create a balance, to check a balance, they are always in the view of work-life balance must be a necessity in an organization. As for the millennials are not anything. It's not like anything goes for them, but they would choose a career path that is in sync with their own lifestyle. If the career path they are going into is not in sync with their lifestyle, would not allow them to have time to do their own things, then they don't want. They would rather quit the job. They would rather not take the job than take the job and have to have their personal life suffer.
That's interesting. And really, on that note, because we can have this conversation on and on and on, and we can go on. It's very interesting. But you see, let's come to the point of rounding up, at least on the program. Giving this, whether from employers' perspective, from employees' perspective, even employers are human beings. They also want work-life balance, even though they have to go extra mile because they want the business to survive. Employees also want that. So, how do we strike a balance? So, Josh, from an employee's perspective, what are the things that you think employers can do to help employees have, manage their work and life?
If there's an effective time schedule for work, where they have to work, and even if they will have break times, at least in between those period of work, and also if there will be extra money for overtime. If I will even if I will have to work overtime, at least I should be earning something to at least to keep the morale going. So it's for the work environment to be conducive for me. I think I will need a period of rest. Like so, leaves sometimes are quite very adequate for someone to at least take rest, and because rest is really important. If you don't get to rest from work, you begin to get stressed out, and having been stressed is not good for the work environment.
Thank you. So, Mrs. O, from an employee and consultant perspective, what can employees do to help create an atmosphere where the employers can also even have a work-life balance, as they run their own business?
Thank you. You see, from what Joshua has said, I get the feeling that the things that employers don't actually want their employees to have a work-life balance. No, that's not true. Employers are putting a lot to ensure that employees are not too stressed. Employees have a life and they can balance it properly. Some of the things that employers have done, have made available, is flexible work time. Or they can do also is to provide flexible work time, which in fact the pandemic brought about. Flexibility has been on for a long while, but the pandemic brought about remote work, which nobody had. Maybe people were not doing a lot before, but now people are going into remote work. You can work. Some offices now make it compulsory that maybe you work 4 days at home, 1 day at work, 1 day you take off. Then the use of technology has actually made it a lot easier. You can work from home, you can work from wherever you are. You're commuting, take your work along if that's work for you, or work from your home, have a workspace, and continue to do your work. It depends on what you want to do. People are even doing hybrid work schedules now. You can come in, or you choose to have remote working done from your home. Just deliver what you're requested to deliver, and that's a lot of things too. They provide counseling services.
Right.
They can.
Thank you so much to you too. So join us next time for another interesting episode of HR Tackles. You can follow our social media as we continue the conversation, and you check for vacancies because we also have vacancies on the program. Okay, this is Lipos Channel. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of your week. Be value adding, be productive. See you next week, and try to have or manage. I don't know whether there's work-life balance, but try to integrate and manage your work and your life. See you then. Thank you.